Imagine facing insurmountable odds, feeling broken, defeated, and hopeless. Now imagine transforming that pain into fuel, turning your darkest moments into your greatest strengths. David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me is more than just a memoir. It's a guide to mastering the mind and breaking through self-imposed limits. This is the story of how I applied Goggins' principles to push past fear, endure discomfort, and redefine what I thought was possible. David Goggins' journey began with brutal honesty. He stood in front of what he calls the accountability mirror, where he confronted the reality of his life, his failures, excuses, and unfulfilled potential. Inspired by his example, I decided to create my own accountability mirror. One evening, I wrote down the truths I'd been avoiding. I admitted to myself that I wasn't giving my best effort at work, that I was neglecting my health, and that I often blamed circumstances for my lack of progress. It was a harsh but necessary wake-up call. This exercise forced me to acknowledge my role in my struggles, stripping away the excuses that had held me back for years. The next step was creating a plan. I wrote small, actionable goals on sticky notes and placed them around the mirror. Each morning, I looked at those notes and reminded myself of what I needed to do. Over time, this practice helped me develop a sense of responsibility and a commitment to self-improvement. The accountability mirror became a tool for transformation, keeping me focused and honest with myself. It wasn't just about setting goals. It was about holding myself accountable for achieving them. As the weeks went by, I noticed a shift in my mindset. The mirror became a symbol of my potential rather than a reflection of my shortcomings. It reminded me daily that growth starts with facing the truth and committing to change. The lessons from this exercise began to seep into other areas of my life, building a foundation for ongoing transformation. Goggins emphasizes the importance of building mental toughness by callousing the mind, training it to endure discomfort and adversity. To me, this concept was both intimidating and inspiring. How could I strengthen my mind to withstand life's challenges? I started with small acts of discomfort. Instead of hitting snooze, I got out of bed at the first alarm. Instead of avoiding difficult conversations, I leaned into them. One of the most impactful practices was embracing physical challenges. I signed up for a local 10K run even though I hadn't trained in years. During the race, every step felt like a battle, but I pushed through, repeating Goggins' mantra, "Stay hard." These small acts of discipline built resilience over time. I began to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow. Each moment of discomfort became a test of my willpower, and every success added another layer to the callus on my mind. Goggins taught me that mental toughness isn't about never feeling discomfort. It's about choosing to face it head-on and emerge stronger. I also started journaling about these experiences. Writing down my struggles and how I overcame them helped me track my growth and reinforced the idea that I could handle more than I initially believed. Over time, these moments of discomfort turned into milestones of progress. The practice of callousing the mind extended beyond physical challenges. It reshaped how I approached emotional and professional hurdles. One of Goggins' most powerful lessons is the 40% rule. When you think you're done, you've only tapped into 40% of your potential. This idea was a game changer for me. How many times had I quit early because I thought I couldn't do more? The first time I tested this rule was during a workout. At the point where I usually stopped, I told myself, "You're only at 40%. I kept going, one rep at a time, until I completed double my usual set. The sense of accomplishment was incredible. I realized how often my mind gave up long before my body needed to. Applying the 40% rule didn't just change how I approached fitness, it changed how I approached life. Whether it was staying late to finish a project, pushing through a challenging day, or tackling a daunting personal goal, I learned to dig deeper and tap into reserves I didn't know I had. This mindset shift unlocked a new level of potential I never thought possible. I also began sharing this rule with friends and colleagues. Watching others discover their hidden potential inspired me to push myself even further. The 40% rule became a mantra that not only guided my actions, but also reshaped my beliefs about what I could achieve. Over time, it became a cornerstone of how I tackled every challenge in my life. Goggins' concept of taking souls is about flipping the script in tough situations and finding a way to dominate. It's not about defeating others, but about proving to yourself that you're unstoppable. I decided to put this principle to the test during a grueling work assignment. I was tasked with leading a high-stakes project with tight deadlines and limited resources. Instead of succumbing to stress, I reframed the challenge as an opportunity to take souls, to exceed expectations, and show what I was capable of. I worked harder, stayed focused, and maintained a positive attitude even when things got tough. When the project was a success, I felt an immense sense of pride, not because I had outdone others, but because I had outdone myself. This mindset transformed how I viewed adversity. Every challenge became a chance to rise above, to prove to myself that no situation could break me. Goggins' taking souls philosophy reminded me that the real battle is within, and the rewards come from pushing beyond what I thought was possible. This concept also taught me to approach even minor setbacks with determination. Instead of seeing difficulties as failures, I saw them as opportunities to demonstrate my resilience. Each success, no matter how small, added to my confidence and drive. One of the most profound lessons from Can't Hurt Me is Goggins' perspective on pain and suffering. Instead of avoiding it, he embraces it as a path to growth. This was a radical idea for me. For most of my life, I'd seen discomfort as something to escape, not something to lean into. I decided to change my relationship with pain. During a particularly challenging week, I faced multiple setbacks, a missed promotion, a lingering injury, and personal conflicts. Instead of retreating into self-pity, I chose to embrace the discomfort. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? And how can I grow? This shift in mindset didn't make the pain go away, but it gave it purpose. I realized that suffering, when approached with the right attitude, could become a powerful teacher. By embracing the struggle, I found strength I didn't know I had. Each time I faced discomfort head-on, I felt myself evolving, growing into someone who could handle more than I ever thought possible. Over time, I began to see pain and suffering as integral parts of personal growth. They became reminders that progress requires effort and perseverance. Instead of fearing discomfort, I welcomed it as a sign that I was pushing my limits. Goggins introduces the concept of the cookie jar, a mental reservoir of past achievements and victories to draw strength from during tough times. This idea resonated with me deeply. How often had I overlooked my own successes, focusing instead on failures and setbacks? I created my own cookie jar by writing down moments when I had overcome challenges, big or small. Whether it was completing a difficult exam, helping a friend through a crisis, or finishing that 10K run, each memory became a cookie I could pull out when I needed motivation. The next time I faced a daunting task, I reached into my cookie jar. Remembering those past victories reminded me that I was capable of more than I gave myself credit for. This practice became a source of resilience, helping me push through self-doubt and uncertainty. The more I added to the jar, the more confident I felt in my ability to tackle whatever came my way. As I continued adding to my cookie jar, it became a powerful tool for building self-belief. Each entry served as a reminder that I had faced challenges before and emerged stronger. It reinforced the idea that my potential was limitless. Throughout Can't Hurt Me, Goggins emphasizes the importance of taking full responsibility for your life. This principle challenged me to stop blaming circumstances or others for my struggles and to own my actions and decisions. I started by tracking my habits. I kept a journal where I documented my daily choices, from how I spent my time to how I handled challenges. This practice of accountability helped me identify patterns and areas for improvement. It wasn't about perfection, it was about progress. By taking ownership of my life, I felt a newfound sense of empowerment. I realized that while I couldn't control everything, I could control how I responded. This mindset shift helped me approach life with greater clarity and determination. Each day, I took small steps toward becoming the person I wanted to be, knowing that accountability was the foundation of growth. This principle extended to my relationships and work. I began to hold myself accountable not just for my successes, but also for my failures. This honesty strengthened my character and earned me greater respect from those around me. At its core, Can't Hurt Me is about redefining what success means. For Goggins, it's not about accolades or external validation. It's about pushing your limits and living up to your full potential. This lesson resonated deeply with me. I began to measure success not by outcomes but by effort. Did I give my best? Did I face my fears? Did I grow from the experience? By focusing on the process rather than the results, I found greater fulfillment in my efforts. Success became less about proving something to others and more about becoming the best version of myself. Redefining success also changed how I viewed setbacks. Each failure became an opportunity to learn and improve, a stepping stone on the path to becoming stronger and more resilient. Goggins' lessons taught me that the journey matters more than the destination. The real success lies in the courage to try, the perseverance to keep going, and the growth that comes from facing challenges head-on. As I continued applying this redefinition of success, I found myself embracing risks and pursuing goals that once seemed out of reach. It wasn't about avoiding failure, but about learning from it and using it to fuel my determination. With this mindset, every effort felt meaningful, and every step forward became a victory.